5 WNBA stars whose injuries altered the 2025 postseason picture and resulted in biggest playoff what-ifs. The 2025 WNBA season has been a roller coaster ride. While there were many predictions of certain teams possibly winning the title this year, many of those predictions changed due to major setbacks their players faced. These setbacks typically involve game-changing injuries. For example, teams like the Indiana Fever were one of the favorites to win the championship this year due to the roster changes made during the offseason. Caitlin Clark was given the pieces that she needed to win the gold. However, injury problems got in the way. Having that in mind, let's take a look at the 5 WNBA players whose injuries changed the landscape for their team in the postseason. Injured WNBA stars who changed their team's postseason dynamics. Number 1, Caitlin Clark. There's no denying that Caitlin Clark quickly became the poster girl of the WNBA. With that kind of popularity, it's only natural that many fans will root for her to win a championship. Unfortunately for the Indiana Fever, their best player sustained a right groin injury in mid-July when they took on the Connecticut Sun. Despite Clark's absence, Indiana managed to make it to the semifinals to face off against the reigning 2025 WNBA MVP, A'ja Wilson. While the Fever have proven to be worthy opponents without their star player, having Clark by their side would have most likely made their playoff experience much easier. Caitlin Clark is their team's top scorer. She's a high-volume shooter with solid accuracy from the field. Clark is also well-rounded, given her ability to create plays for her teammates and make effective defensive stops. Having all that said, the Fever sophomore might have given A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces a tougher time in the semifinals. Number 2, Napheesa Collier. One of the biggest upsets of the postseason is Napheesa Collier's ankle injury. Collier was this season's runner-up for the WNBA MVP award. There's no denying that the Minnesota Lynx star led her team to stay on top of the mountain. However, the Lynx now find themselves in a sticky situation after the Phoenix Mercury secured a 2-1 series lead in the semifinals. Collier sustained her injury after attempting to attack the basket in the final few seconds of the fourth quarter in Game 3. The Lynx were only down 4 points. Had Collier not sprained her ankle in the process and successfully driven inside the paint to score a bucket, Minnesota could have either forced overtime or maybe even won the game. Number 3, Sophie Cunningham. Ever since moving to the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham became a crowd favorite on her new team. Cunningham isn't exactly a scoring machine, nor does she dominate the paint. However, her gutsy performances, hustling for the ball to secure possessions for the Fever, have impressed Indiana fans. Unfortunately for the Fever, Cunningham tore her MCL in late August. This left the team without their initiator on the court. While we're not leaving out Indiana's other great defenders, there's no denying that Cunningham's heart, passion, and fire on the hardwood is what sets her apart from her teammates. Had Sophie Cunningham made a playoff appearance this season, the Atlanta Dream and Las Vegas Aces would likely had a more difficult time creating shots for themselves. Number 4, Dejanai Carrington. Another Minnesota Lynx player on this list is Dejanai Carrington. Before joining the Lynx, Carrington suited up for the Dallas Wings. Minnesota brought her in because of her defensive prowess. Last season, Carrington was a member of the WNBA's defensive first team. She also finished in 4th place for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Sad to say, similar to what happened to the Lynx's star player, Napheesa Collier, Carrington sprained her left midfoot in Game 2 of the semifinals matchup against the Phoenix Mercury. Had Dejanai Carrington remained in the lineup for Game 3, one could argue that the Mercury would have had a much more difficult time setting plays. Number 5, Breanna Stewart. A more unique pick in this list is Breanna Stewart. The New York Liberty big did technically play throughout the WNBA playoffs. However, she did so while dealing with a leg injury. Stewart sprained her MCL in her left knee in Game 1 against the Phoenix Mercury. However, she opted to play in the remainder of their games regardless of whether the Liberty won or lost. Some argue that the only reason the Mercury won was that Stewart wasn't at 100%. Had she dodged her knee injury in Game 1, the Liberty might have been able to advance to the semifinals to face off against the Minnesota Lynx in a 2024 WNBA Finals rematch.